everybody, and welcome to another episode of Stream of Consciousness. I am smoking in G sharp, and to my right, I believe,
Somewhere.
we somewhere up there and down. All right, Lisa Hauserman. How are you doing, Lisa?
I'm delightful. And if you want me to, if you give me a solo screen, I can show everyone Thomas.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Here we
Here
go,
we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Thomas.
Now you got to tell me if you can see him at
Okay, I
all.
will. Oh, I do. So far, I do.
Okay, I'm going to get as close as,
I'm
this.
gonna I'm gonna narrate here. For those who have never seen any of our shows, Lisa Hauserman has kind of domesticated a, a possum. This is Thomas. He has a friend who is called Samantha. She comes around now and then, but yeah, isn't this great? Look at him.
He's been coming around since he was about 5 months old in the middle of July, every night. Hi, sweetheart. And so I made him a little deal and I thought you might want to see him.
Absolutely.
So
Look
there
at
he is.
that.
I know. God love. Okay.
Oh.
We can get back to normal, whatever the hell that is. Okay. Anyhow, that's
So
my greeting. Hello there. I have a possum.
yeah, it's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I love wildlife when you've got, um, I know a few people who have had trained raccoons and squirrels.
See. I love raccoons, but I misjudge them maybe too because I used to think possums were like hideous creatures that were out to attack you and they're going to give you rabies and all this. And here they have a very low percent of getting rabies, like because their temperature is a little bit lower. So it's
Okay.
not easy for it to live, in their bodies. And they're real clean and they're soft and they're
Yeah.
timid. So
Yeah. The man
okay.
who had the raccoons said you just got to catch them young and you can domesticate them as well, like cats. They turn out to be kind of, sometimes more mischievous, but yet like cats.
They're so cute with their hands.
I know.
And
They look
Thomas is so
adorable.
big now. I mean, when he kind of walks bow legged anyway. That's how they do. And he's got these, they have the thumbs
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
on his back feet. And it's so funny. Joel said he's really plump, and Joel has seen a lot of them because he's out in the wild, doing his thing.
Thomas comes by practically every night, so I'm sure he's plump.
Yes, I know.
you
He
know?
got some pork fat tonight, so he was thrilled about that.
Oh, yeah, a little fat for that winter.
Anyhow, here we are together again. Together again.
That's right. I have been telling Lisa that I've been extremely busy. I'm trying to catch up with watching people's videos. So if I don't see your videos, because I have over 400 subscriptions, and I try to capture just about everybody who puts a video up when I can. So there you go.
Wow, that's something else.
I do. Well, it's because I'm subbed up to people because I want to be, and
That's good. Not a sub for sub deal. See, I got
yeah,
involved in that when I first came on here. I was talked into come over here and a bunch of people will subscribe and I didn't know any better. And so I'm doing that. And then I felt obligated to look at this and things that I really, didn't have an interest in. I felt,
yeah. It doesn't serve anybody on either side of that, So
yeah,
yeah,
the sub for sub deal.
yeah.
I'm against it for the record.
Okay. And I am against, well, I'm not against it, but I do not participate in voting. I want to bring that up really quickly.
I don't either registered political atheist.
Yeah, me too. At this point, it doesn't matter if it's the clown from the left or the joker from the right because they're going to do
We're
what they're going
stuck
to
in the
do.
middle with
We're
you.
stuck in the middle with you. That's right.
And they're
Um,
not even in charge. You know what I'm saying? They're puppets.
this is where the ugly actors go.
Hmm.
It is. That's where they go. Politics. And they're just the mouthpieces for the whomevers. And we can draw the long list for you one day if we get around to it, um, of who really runs the world.
If we even know the whomevers, I don't even think are
I
known.
know we can make
We
some
call them the
guesses.
whomevers.
It's my whom.
Like the
I
hidden
don't.
hand, the ruling class, a lot of names for them, the 1%, the Illuminati, whatever.
I know. Lately, I want to call them da 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 da. Yes,
The
the
Adams
Adams
family.
family. Oh my gosh, what a joke. But I mean, and Lisa, every 4 years, it just gets more clownish and ridiculous and absurd. That's all
Weirder
I have
and
to say.
weirder. That's why I think that Matt across the state, as I always call him, Quantum Matt, he might be onto something about we live in this scripted reality or a simulation or whatever. I mean, the stuff that's being put right out in front of us is really unbelievable. These are the best they could do. Come on.
That's what
It's
I'm
just,
saying. I watch Netflix series that are better, than what I'm seeing. I mean, it's just beyond. It's just gone beyond. I don't know what to say. Well, this is what I have to say to everybody. Just a thought
I'm going to
for
stop,
all.
ma'am.
Okay.
Don't panic.
Oh, um, for those of you who do vote, I'm glad it makes you feel better, and I'm not telling you not to vote, but just consider this: if none of us voted one term, just nobody went to the polls. Now that would be a vote. That would be a statement that we're no longer going to play this charade and we're going to get something new in. Just saying. I know it's a
I
dream.
agree
It's my pipe
totally.
dream. Let me get my pipe.
I think with like George Carlin said, if you do vote, you don't okay, you know how the saying goes, how is it? If you don't vote, you can't bitch about it or something. But he turned it around and said if you do vote, you shouldn't bitch about it because you're basically loaning your good name to a criminal element, a mob, a cartel, a controlled, hideous, murdering group of weirdos. I can't find enough descriptive words for it.
I know,
But that's my
but
view. I just won't I'm not going to participate in loaning my name, good or bad, to the system when I don't trust the system, believe in the system. It's easily corruptible. I think from the get-go, it's easy to bribe people the way it was set up. I'm not a big one on worshiping the founding individuals. So that might get me into trouble here, but it's just my own personal stream of consciousness. Don't clutch pearls.
yes. No, it's true. But the corruption has just absolutely gone over the top. That's where we're at now. We're just, I mean, and it's not just at the top. It's everywhere, and yeah, we're gonna have an interesting road ahead of us. The way things have been going the last 8 months. Oh my gosh.
I know it's absolute insanity. I can barely formulate a sentence over it.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna bring up this topic here in Oregon. I'm gonna go to my local state politics here. Now, we passed Measure 109, and the major part of it was to get these psilocybin mushrooms passed for helping people with mental health problems, believe it or not. It's a therapy thing that they're trying to do here. That part, okay, shrooms are kind of like cannabis. I have not seen one person take them and do anything violent or despicable. They end up in a corner laughing, at everything, basically. So if that's how they want to do it, I'm fine with that. But here's the problem with the rest of Measure 109. It also legalizes heroin,
Decriminalizes.
decriminalizes, sorry,
We're gonna
sorry
have a
about that.
debate.
It decriminalizes heroin, uh, meth, cocaine, all of the heavies. I wonder if LSD is in there. I'll have to see. But yeah, our debate here on this is I, living in Oregon, am not keen on this. And I'm going to start off the debate, and this is my premise. Since 2014, when cannabis became legal here, I have seen the city grow exponentially with people who want to come here because they can smoke cannabis freely and buy it and or get into the business. And that is all well and good, but what it did was it caused a hyperinflation in our city. Rents went astronomical. Of our foods, our taxes, everything went up because all of a sudden Portland got this huge load of people, and yeah, it burdened the rest of us that were already here. And I don't mean to sound that way, but it's just how it is. And one thing with cannabis, though, is if a homeless person does cannabis, again, he's not going to do any harm, no foul. He's just going to like mellow out in a corner. But people who are living on the streets that are doing the hard drugs, they get their money by stealing at night from the residents here. We have to lock everything up, and I'm not joking. If you don't watch them, they'll take the things out of your yard. People have lost. I know it sounds funny and strange, but they'll take the screen doors off of your back porch and things like that if they think you're not around. Anything they can strip because they make money and for their drugs. Now, if it's decriminalized, the next thing that I'm wondering if the state is going towards creating dispensaries now where they can go and purchase this. Now, on the good side, Lisa's probably going to come in and say it's clean drugs. It hasn't been stepped on. And a lot of people are dying from, in heroin anyway, from being stepped on with too much of that fentanyl, the fake heroin. And
My
then
stepson being one of them, yes.
oh, I did not know. Oh, that's right. I just now
Austin,
remembered.
yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So I understand that end of it. But however, that's two entrances, but and however. Anyway, however, wherever they place these dispensaries, you're going to have a growing number of homeless people or semi-homeless people because that's kind of where they're at now. They either live in RVs or their cars, some tents. Okay. Growing around these dispensaries. And there again, the residents here have to put in extra taxes to keep them moving on. And we're building places and we're buying places here for them to live in the city. That's their answer now to everything here in Portland. And I'll rest my case at this point, Lisa. You have the floor.
Well, I don't know how much of the floor I'm going to take up, but excuse me. I It's my understanding. First of all, I'm not even sure about the Portland deal. I just heard that Washington State, which is not where Portland is, decriminalized some of these things. I don't think that means they're going to legalize it and put dispensaries. It's sort of two different issues. The war on drugs has really ruined so many people's lives, I think. And in terms of the homeless situation, I mean, that can be also sort of blamed on, well, just the state of the country or whatever. But I don't really think dispensaries would be a part of it from what I can gather. And I know that, well, and I can only speak to Washington and I only saw a little bit about it, that they're also going to have sort of like, you'll get a small fine, I think, for possession, but they're going to offer some sort of, like a rehab place that would be involved. And they did this in Portugal. I don't know if you're familiar with that or not, but they decriminalized everything over there quite some time ago. I'm not sure when, 10 years or less, I think. And they saw actually addiction rates go down and stuff like that because, well, and also the death rates in terms of what you were talking about, getting a pure hit of whatever you're taking and it's not stepped on, as they say, on the street. So I can't see dispensaries being a part of it because it's not legalizing it, it's decriminalizing it, which is kind of two different things. But I just think in general, the war on drugs is more like a war on people and not really drugs. And it's just another way for, these agencies to, knock down your door. People have been killed that weren't even supposed to be the targets of the raids. And it's just really a bad scene. So I'm not like, I didn't look at it from an angle of neighborhood dispensaries or the economic stuff in general. And, there's all kinds of reasons, of course, why people become homeless. I think, if it weren't for Joel helping me out, I would be one step away from it myself. So not, it's just a lot of the gentrification that comes into the towns and these rich corporations buy up an area, what all that means, and then push everybody out. And it's, well, I guess you have to wait and see, but that's not a super strong argument, but it's all I got. I just don't plan what we're going to say, really. I knew we were going to talk about this, but it's not like we talked about it for an hour before the show.
No, 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 we didn't. Just like 2 minutes, I said, I'm going to talk about this and that. No, those are great points. And I want everyone to also know I am against the war on drugs because, yes, we have seen that there again, the corruption took over. They're really running the drugs into this country on one end and then busting people on the other end.
And the CIA is like one of the biggest drug dealers.
The biggest, absolutely, they
And the
started
private
it.
prison industry benefits from this and all that crap.
Yeah, they
So, yeah,
started back in Vietnam. They figured that one out. No,
yeah.
it's absolutely true, and I want people to know I'm so against. And it's not that if people want to do drugs, that is fine. It's just I know how Oregon works. They are going to open dispensaries for the mushrooms
Okay.
because it's going therapeutic.
I
You'll
think I know some people who do that therapeutically now. That's called microdosing. And
Yes,
some people have been, cured, for lack of a better word, from their, like say anxiety or depression or
sure.
other issues.
And
I've done them myself, frankly.
yeah, but it's just unfortunate the harder drugs that were. See, they didn't have to tie those on, did they? They could have just gone with the mushroom thing. But they tied those on because I know Oregon, somehow, some way, they're going to work it into a dispensary. You'll have to get a card and maybe a doctor's whatever.
Well, I understand your concerns as well, but I
Yeah, and because I saw what legalizing marijuana, cannabis, whatever you call it, here did to us. It boomed our economy, but a little too much too fast, and then it all settled down, and then we had a lot of people who couldn't survive here.
I
You know,
see, yeah. Well, that's
yeah,
the whole
yeah,
problem with the taxing system and all that jazz that we could go on and on about forever.
yeah,
Or
yeah.
we
The
could talk
tax,
about this. Can you see it?
the moon, sure.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about the moon. The other day I did a video, and it's a sad day for me, folks, because I am a huge Trekkie. I mean, I have the shirt and the communicator that you pin on and everything. I really do. I know. I'll wear it someday.
I used to be a total fan of NASA fan girl, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
Bigly, big time. Although I didn't realize it was founded by Nazis. I didn't know a lot of this jazz. I will mute and remove my face.
Oh, okay. All right. But no, it's true. I got disillusioned with NASA I can't look at a picture from Mars or Saturn now without going, how did they really do that? It's the same. Because just going back to the moon, let me bring some pictures up here.
See,
I've been,
I took myself out so you could bring up pictures.
oh, gotcha. Okay, I'm going to bring up pictures. Okay, so just looking at some of these, I'm going to try and get as many in here as I can. This just looks like a nice sunny day on a beach down in southern Mexico.
It's unreal. I mean, literally, I just look, something you said the other night, because I watched your show, not during the live. I think it was live, but I watched it later. I never thought of this aspect when you were talking about being standing on that moon, getting your photo taken,
Yeah.
how bright it is. I mean, that sucker lights up. I said sucker, not the F word.
Oh, you can
It
cuss.
it lights up. There's shadows from trees and stuff. It's
That's
unbelievably bright,
that's
whatever it
just
is.
it is on a really not even full moon, but pretty dominant moon here. It will shine in my windows and beam down on my floor. It leaves shadows. When I go outside, I can see moon shadows. That's a pretty high beam for the 286,000 miles they say it is, which we're not too sure about that anymore, people. I want a whole new set of numbers, and I want the facts, ma'am. I'm not going with that 286, but however far away it is, that is a really high lux. So if you were standing on the moon, even with the best, most sophisticated cameras we have today, you might be able to put welder's glass in front of the camera to block some of this, but you'd never get a picture like this. Not with our cameras, even today,
I'm
with that
going
high.
to look up Marcus Allen. I believe that's his name. He's the I think it is. Oh, I could be totally wrong. the Apollo
Look at this.
cameras. I'm not there. I can't look.
Oh, okay.
Oh, here he is, Marcus Allen, the Fact or Fiction. I'll find something, but I'm coming back over. Hang on,
Yeah,
StreamYard,
sure.
StreamYard. Here we are. Yes,
Okay. Well, yeah, like look at this picture. I mean, look at the shadows. Uh no, no. This looks like a nice afternoon driving down some place in Nevada. All they did was black out the sky and back. That's it.
there's all kinds of different ideas as to where they filmed this jazz, and one of them was really interesting. They said it was in some junkyard in Arizona or something,
Sure.
and the person who was conducting the investigation or whatever, he zoomed in on things in the background. It looked like an old car was sitting there in like a can and this, that, and the other. Really weird. But this getting to the camera sitch, this Marcus Allen gentleman, uh, that's his bag, so to speak, to use the word mother loves. And I'm kidding. Uh, you were mentioning the cameras. Now I forget what they're called, Heisendorfs or something.
Yeah, they're a hustle. I call it Husselhoffs, but that's
And
not the name.
of
Wh-
course not. No,
Of
we're two
course, but
women
it's
sitting
a
on a porch.
German high-end camera. It was the best in its day.
They were
Uh,
not modified at all, according to NASA.
no, and doing videotape on top of this, they barely had, what we
It
now
looks
know
like an
as.
ice fishing hut.
Yes, and that's the other thing I'm going to get to. But yeah, getting
Unreal.
back to the videotape, they barely had VHS beta. They didn't even have that going yet in the day. It was just a new thing, let alone put filters on it. My word, give me a break. But yes, the lamp itself looks very put together. Let me see if I can make it bigger here. Hold on, let me find it. And I'll pull it. Ooh, I don't want that thing. There we go. Look at this. And can you see right here how the bent panels, you see how they're just, I mean, Lisa, this thing couldn't go 40 feet in the desert, let alone land on the moon. Look at this.
I know. It's just, now this was one of the first things that I kind of got into, I guess you'd say, back when I was married at all, because I'm not married now, but I've been with Joel 17 years. But when I was married, my first husband's son, Matthew, didn't believe in the moon landing. And I thought he was nuts. And of course, first place I go, because computers were new, kind of, I went over to NASA to have them debunk that for me. And of course, come on, that was so silly. And then as years went by or whatever, I started to look at everything again because I'm willing to re examine everything I've ever been told. That's my tagline, I think. Maybe it
Hmm.
is now. And some of the stuff I found, but one of the first people I did find was that Marcus Allen. And he just talked about the camera and also that Bart Seibel. He did a documentary called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon. And it's very, it's one of the oldest ones I think they did. But there were people in real time that did not buy that Apollo landed on the moon.
Mm-mm.
And then
You're
some think that's a phony bone of contention, like Richard Hall, because he thinks maybe something happened with a secret space program. And, who knows? But I'm just saying that
no,
Apollo couldn't have done it. And especially with the computing power and all this crap, it's nutty. Nutty. Maybe I'll put a link to Marcus Allen after this.
yeah, that would be great. I'd like to see that. No, you're absolutely right. They anyway, I was going to point out a couple of things that I'm just looking at this. Now, see at the very bottom underneath, that's supposed to be where the fire comes out as it's landing, the rocket. If you notice, it's like stuck in the sand. I don't see any sand around it that's burned or marked. I don't see like the legs don't look like they're singed or anything. I mean, it doesn't look like it, in my humble opinion, like anything landed there. It was placed there.
It's very suspicious.
Really suspicious. And then over here, I saw in one channel these shock absorbers. You see there on the
Mhm.
arms.
While you
This,
talk, I'm going to look up something.
sure thing. He pointed out that these were nothing more than like really not even industrial, like car shock absorbers. He said if this thing's coming down and it's going to land on hard ground, he said these things are a joke. They wouldn't survive the shock. I mean, all these things that they're pointing out to us, and here
Also,
again,
oh, go ahead.
I was going to say lastly, yeah, here again, look at the shadows on the little rocks. Now, if we had a high lux moon, even if they were at the edge, this would all be burned out in the photo. Go ahead,
They
Lisa.
also have photos of a prop that was used. It had like the letter C on it or something. I was over to Richard Hall's channel to see, because I wanted to look at some more pictures because one of them is really a dead giveaway. It has, oh, I guess I can bring myself in. It has a picture of the LEM sitting in an area and it has this background. And then soon there's an astronaut there where the LEM used to be, and it's the same background totally. There's no question. Just look into it, ladies and gentlemen. It's crazy, but don't go to NASA to debunk it like I did. Because then, I mean, that was kind of dumb, but I didn't know. I just thought, let me see if this is true. I'll ask NASA. And they get a lot of money, a lot of money. They were founded by Nazis. So that's a little irritating to me, a little suspicious. I didn't
Oh,
really know much about that either until, fairly recently.
oh yeah, it was started by the German Nazis they brought over from Paperclip. They started the
Operation Paperclip.
CIA and the NASA program.
Bonner von Braun.
That is
Let's say his
correct.
name. Yeah. And he even mentioned how you'd have to get there. You'd have to use a rocket as big as the Empire State Building and go halfway and refuel. I forget what all he said, but and I
Yeah,
believed all of it. I really do not think we landed on the moon with Apollo.
right. No, I do remember way
Keep that in
back
mind,
if
Apollo.
in the 70s there were people saying this is not real. And of course as a young teenager I'm going, "Oh, but it is real. It is. They
Yeah,
wouldn't lie to us."
that Bart's eyebrow. Whenever I say that in talk text, it comes up Bart's eyebrow, by the way. But anyhow, Bart's eyebrow did several documentaries, but in one of them, he interviewed a fellow. I think his name's Renee, but I don't remember his last name right now. But he was in that club for geniuses, starts with an M. The
Oh,
men.
Mensa.
Yeah, and he immediately from the get go was debunking this in real time, I guess you'd say. And he even had some stuff published by NASA. I'm not sure of all the details, but I would start with that Bart's eyebrow, not Bart's eyebrow. Funny thing happened on the way to the moon. It's just very basic. He goes over the shadows, and he actually
Good.
got some footage where it's good. It's well worth your time. And then he did one called Astronauts Gone Wild, and he actually got punched by Buzz Aldrin.
I did see some clips of that. That's right. Yep, yep,
Yeah,
yep. Okay, here's another smoking gun. Ready?
smoking gun from Smoking and G Sharp.
That's right. Buzz Aldrin. He just turned 90. He's still alive. Now, this is the guy who went through that Van Allen bout that's all full of radiation and ruined, remember, recordings, and now we can't go back through it because it's just too much radiation. But
Yes,
he went through it, and he's 90. How did he
maybe
live that
maybe
long?
the Van Allen belts give you an extra boost. And also he's been to Antarctica and all kinds of weird stuff.
Oh, yeah, see, I'm first trying to put forth what's really in front of us that is phony. So that later on, I'm hoping that we can walk the audience through other things that are phony, and it has a lot to do with Antarctica and our South.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean the moon landing, I know a lot of people are just gonna call us nuts or tinfoil hat or whatever, but our tinfoil is probably a little bit stronger than that gold foil they had on the LEM.
Oh my God. After I started really looking at that, I said, "You've got to be kidding." And we bought this hook, line, and sinker.
Oh, big time. Plus, when I remember being little and I'd wait for because I was born in '64, so I'd wait for the capsule to come down, watch it on TV, and I just knew nothing would ever happen to them because it was America and we were great at that age, because
Hmm.
you're taught that from the get go. So
That's it. Well, our generation was totally indoctrinated right from the beginning. I
a lot
mean,
of the generations were really, yeah.
yeah, yeah. They started actually in the 40s and 50s, right after the war, how great we were with missiles and, You remember they started putting those really cheesy science fiction movies, really getting us to bite the going into outer space kind of thing. And then, yeah, by the time my age group came around, hold on just a second, I'm going to cough.
Oh, that's okay. She'll cough and I'll just talk. At any rate, ladies and gentlemen, there also is a really good investigation by Andrew Hall and I'm sorry, Andrew Johnson, gosh, and Richard Hall across the pond. It's very well thought out, research, tremendous. I'll provide it in the show notes, as they say. We have show notes now. It's very good. If you can get through that without and you don't and you still believe the Apollo, then I don't know what to say. But it's
Yeah,
just
you're not ready. That's what they say now. If you're not seeing it, you're just not ready, and it's really okay because we all move and develop on this planet, this earth, this life at
this
different
place.
rates, and some people might catch other things quicker than I do, and that's just the way it rolls. So
Oh, I
if
know we
it's,
sound like, juveniles talking about the moon landing, but a lot of people don't know. And so,
yeah, and but like I said, it's so easy once you start calling out the obvious. And like I said, later on, I'm hoping to take people to things that are not so obvious. But once you think about it, oh my gosh, we've really been lied to. We've been
oh,
lied to.
absolutely. I was talking to Spencer about it the other day. Um, I forget what it was, really what particular thing, but he was just looking at me with his mouth dropped open because every turn he makes, he realizes something he thought was true wasn't.
Yeah,
And it's like we've really been effed.
yeah, pretty much.
And, this whole, I don't know. It was a way to get the nation to cheer on something as well when Vietnam was gearing up. And then the Apollo missions went on until the early 70s when, of
Oh
course,
yeah,
Vietnam was
yeah. Well,
fired up.
sure, it was partly a little bit of Vietnam, but really it was Russia. They were
Oh, I know.
flexing their
I'm just
muscle.
saying it kind of it was something good and fun for the Americans to be proud of as we were,
Oh
murdering
yes.
and Agent Oranging and whatnot over in
Oh,
Southeast Asia.
they
Yeah.
absolutely, Lisa. Every time they pulled one of these shenanigans, it's multiple reasons.
Oh,
It's,
yeah.
it's anywhere from making us feel good to covering things up and taking care of some problems
And keeping our focus on this, just
on
like
the
just like
fire
this
behind us.
election that's unfolding now or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, look at the fire we built, everybody over here. Don't pay attention to what's going on, behind you. No, no. But
Yep.
yeah, yeah, back then in the 60s, a lot of it was Russia was trying to pull away from the Bretton Woods deal. And they were shooting rockets up. I'm not sure if it was for space or missiles, I don't know. But
Right.
they were catching on to the rocket program. And the United States wanted to stay the big muscle with that petrodollar, which soon to be petrodollar, holding on to the Bretton Woods deal. And so they actually, I think, fooled the Russians for a minute, just for a minute.
Maybe.
And
Yeah. And a lot of people say, why didn't the Russians tell or whatever? Well, it's my understanding that we were like supplying them with wheat or something at the time. So there was sort of a reason not for them not to be quiet. One of the many reasons. And plus, I don't even know if governments are really separate. I don't. I know that
no,
sounds out there.
they're not as
But
separate as we would like to
as we
think.
think, yeah, I think there could be a controlling mechanism, let's say it, that does it all.
Well, if you remember correctly, yeah, right after what was it, 72 ish or something was the last time the supposed Apollo missions went up. There was a brief period where nobody was doing anything. And then all of a sudden, we were shooting the Challenger, remember building the ISS, starting that. And Russia was so involved
Yeah.
because they made a deal. The United States says, "Yeah, it's phony. Now you can blow our cover, or you can join us and fool your people right along as with us and get all this secret money, la di da." And that's what I think happened.
That's a
Think
good
about it.
point. I bet you $1 will get one of those Apollo banners underneath here.
Oh
Yeah.
yes,
From
that's
Wikipedia.
well. Then you're really over the target when you get one of those banners from Wikipedia explaining how this is not really true.
Yeah, exactly. Wikipedia of all things. I mean, I've gone in to edit something about a nerve condition I have. And hello, it's just me. You can anybody can go in there except for some people who can't have webs. They won't allow them on there. It's really crazy. Okay, G Sharp's having a little drag and a bit of a coughing spell. So I will just say we should maybe end pretty soon. Don't you? Haven't we overwhelmed people enough at this point? I know there are people in the lounge because I have the Lounging with Lisa channel that are quite aware of this particular hoax.
Yes, it's true. I'm sorry. I was caught.
That's not, it's
You
not
know what it
yours.
is?
Okay, I can.
It's because
Yeah,
I'm using a new pipe and I'm not used to it. Just so you know. So I'm getting a
it's
bigger
legal in
hit.
her state too. Let's look at that moon again. Maybe you can give me a solo screen. I'm holding still, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, and there's my smiley face for added. Well, you can't even see that. Okay. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so fascinated by it. I really am. Okay, my God, get me out of the solo. Solo, take me out, Captain. Okay.
Okay, we're back. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I'm using a new pipe, and hey, I try to show you my background, but I've got my green screen going tonight.
Total green screen, not partial. I don't even know if there's a possum around. I'm also attracting neighborhood cats. We have a tomcat that I've named Steven, and we
Ooh,
have a calico, which means it's female,
yeah.
kind of black and blah, blah, blah. I think I'm going to call her Cindy. I don't know. I'm taking requests. Whatever. They're getting fed here now. Oh, wait, there's a possum right there. It's Thomas. He's on the ground. I don't want to scare him. He gets scared when he's, hi, sweetheart. I love him. So, hi, Thomas. Sorry.
Yeah, that's
He's
okay. I
huge.
get that. Oh, well, yes, we don't want to bore our audience. If you want to take it out here shortly, we certainly can.
We can take it out, and that way I can fuss over tea.
Okay. Oh, before we go, though, I just want to say to everybody, you know, please come join us on the SOC channel over here. I'm going to probably put this on my BitChute, not on my
Excellent.
regular.
And the link will be in the actually
It,
description.
that's right. It'll
Look
be
at
in the
that.
not chat. This was set up for our live stream. But yeah, please come on over, sub up because as you can see, this is our burner phone.
We have
And
20.
yeah,
I want to
that's
welcome a
great.
new subscriber, Aunt BB. I always say Aunt instead of Aunt. Subscribed and told me so under a comment. So, hello. I know this is really strange. I told you it was going to be weird.
Well, I'm glad you joined. Yeah, and please, nudge others to come on over if you want to hear the offbeat and I don't know what would you call it, the stream of consciousness from the new way of thinking or something like that.
Something like that. Yes. Where it's just two women who many might label to be kind of
Tin
crazy. Yeah, tinfoil hats.
tinfoilers. Well, my new thing is I'm a melty head.
Oh, before we go, I was going to say that, sorry, I keep hitting this, sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I don't like the word truther really. And so Mick was asking, what do I want to be called, I guess, because that's why I don't join groups or any of that. But I feel like knowledge seeker, like knowing this truth thing. It's got a bad name.
Yeah, it really
You know,
does.
I think it's one of those trigger words.
Well, they've worked it that way. See, that's
Kind of
what
like
you.
Anunnaki is a trigger word,
Oh
or,
yeah,
the
yeah.
ancient alien theory or whatever. Yeah. So there's just trigger words. And I know the truth or movement can be, I don't know, full of a lot of crazy stuff. And then you get lumped in with stuff you don't want to be lumped in with. So I don't really join things. That's why I don't like labels or any of that. But I guess if I have to be called something nice, ladies and gentlemen, um, a knowledge seeker.
There you
Because
go.
you can know. A lot of people think you can never know. We can never know. Well, there are certain things we can know.
Yeah,
And one of them is that the Apollo did not land on the moon.
that's right.
I rest my case.
And not too long ago, we're not too sure when because history's been so messed with, but we had an advanced civilization and things got melted.
I think
Abs-
so too. Yeah, the melted
Absolutely.
things and some sort
That's
of
right.
reset or whatever. Yeah,
So you can call me a melty head.
we can
That's
do that for the next one. Let's keep them hanging.
yes. Okay, everybody. You take care and stay frosty.
Don't clutch pearls.